Hey guys, SSV Cloud again, and we're back. It's time for Capital Punishment, I believe. Yeah, Capital Punishment. Alright, so from the bottom up, as I've been doing, and I think this is a really good card, by the way. But from the bottom up, Daniel Bryan, Alex Riley, Ted Dibiase Jr., just the SmackDown baby faces, go over Ezekiel Jackson, Heath Slater, and Justin Gabriel in a six-man tag match. After the match, Wade Barrett attacks the core, kind of to put over his singularity against the core. Who gets the pin? Daniel Bryan makes Heath Slater tap out to the label lock. Because as much as I like Heath Slater, I like him the least of the three members of the core left in the match. And as much as I like the three guys, on the babyface side, Daniel Bryan's the only one I plan on doing anything with in the foreseeable future. So yeah, Daniel Bryan starts getting a push. Then, the next match right after this, Zack Ryder defends his United States Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match between him, Santino Marella, and Kofi Kingston. Well, you can guess who takes the fall in this one. I mean, I like Santino, but I don't think the character he has is good enough to make him a main event player. And there's nothing wrong with being a mid-carder, in my opinion. So, yeah. This is a way for Zack Ryder to get a clean pin, but without making Kofi lose too much heat. So, Zack Ryder goes over Santino. He goes over both of them, but he gets the pin on Santino. And then in the next match, right after this, we get the crowd hot again, because they just saw a heel go over two very popular babyfaces. Right after this, we have John Morrison going over Ron Killings in a grudge match. And the thing of interest in this match is that John Morrison uses the Moonlight Drive to put Ron Killings away. I want to try and phase out Starship Pain just because he rarely hits the move. And I want my wrestlers to be able to hit their finishing moves, believably. I mean, even with Hulk Hogan and the leg drop, there was at least always at an angle where it at least looked like he hit the leg drop on the guy. I mean, Starship Pain, no matter what angle you're going to put it at, he's still going to, maybe at most, hit the guy with his shoulder. Yeah, Moonlight Drive, if Ron Killings can't twist enough to pull it off, which I think he can, but if he can't, super kick. Yeah, nothing wrong with giving Morrison a super kick. I mean, somebody's got to have it. Next match, the Quintessence, Wade Barrett, which I like as a nickname just because it's different sounding, but it essentially means his name is the essence or the epitome. It's just different and it's overtly fancy, which kind of works for Wade Barrett, I think. Wade Barrett, the Intercontinental Champion, defends his title against William Regal in a London street fight for the Intercontinental Heavyweight title. And this is just to be a crazy fight. Regal using his veteran skills and his smarts and the allowance of weapons to kind of cancel out Wade Barrett's size and youth, because Wade Barrett's a big guy. But Wade Barrett is still able to fight dirty with William Regal because, he's a bare-knuckle fighter. This is kind of just a way to get Wade Barrett over as a heel, but by having him really mess up William Regal, and you also get him over as tough because William Regal really messes him up in return. Wade Barrett, defends his title, goes over Regal with some kind of real nasty wasteland move. And then after the match is over, maybe he puts him in the Regal stretch. I don't know, just some heel thing. Then in the next match, Sin Cara goes over Chavo Guerrero in a 2-out-of-3 falls match. I just want this to be some crazy lucha thing, like something straight out of AAA or CMLL. Something that the fans have never really, early solid fans, haven't really seen before. And I think it's a good time if you're trying to push a new era of action and excitement in the company to really introduce some concepts and some styles that the fans aren't that familiar with. And, it's just an interesting selling point for the pay-per-view, and It's an interesting way to get more DVD buys, so I keep this as is. I mean, I keep it the way I just described it, and, you know. Yeah, I think these guys could have a good match, given enough time. But I would give them enough time. I'd ask them how much time they think they'd need, and, you know, they'd have it. Nothing like crazy or anything, but, you know. Mason Ryan, the next match. Mason Ryan just utterly murders David Otunga and Joe Hennig in the handicap match. I mean, he just annihilates him. I don't think they take more than 2 steps before they just ripped limb from limb. And it's got to be mean and brutal and savage to the point where they stop cheering for Mason Ryan for beating up other bad guys. Because Mason Ryan isn't going to be a babyface. Not for a long time. Yeah, he just rips these guys apart. Maybe, like, gives David Otunga a powerbomb onto Mike McGillicuddy. I don't know, just something ridiculous. Something ridiculous and overtly powerful and vaguely humiliating. Alright, and the next match, the Underdogs, Trent Beretta and Kurt Hawkins, defend their tag team championships against Jinder Mahal and Gregory Khali. And they go over. Which is, you know, it plays up the underdog thing, because, like I said in my last video, Jinder Mahal and Gregory Khali are absolutely monstrous. But they go over with their high-flying babyface tag move, maybe something like springboard or total elimination, I don't know. And Khali takes the fall. Mahal attacks Khali after the match. So you're breaking them up right after you put them together, because I don't want that tag team to exist any longer than it has to. And then The Miz, with Zack Ryder, defeats Triple H. You heard that right. The Miz defeats Triple H to retain his WWE title. John Cena in street clothes comes out during the match to distract the ref when the Triple H has the pin. Nothing like puts his hands on the ref or anything. Just he kind of walks down the ramp or walks over the barricade. Just something with his presence that distracts the referee and allows the Miz to get the win. So now the Miz is getting these wins over these big main event guys, really putting Miz over strong. Once again, Miz, you're welcome. The next match, Karma, who is at this point 8-0, defeats Kelly in a singles match for the Divas Championship, which he just destroys Kelly. Karma still has not said maybe 5 words, I think, and she's just annihilating Divas left and right. I don't think this match goes longer than 2 minutes. I really wouldn't want it to go longer than 2 minutes. And then in the final match of the night, the main event, Christian. Yeah, the SmackDown World title is going to the main event. What is this, 3 pay-per-views in a row now? What madness is this? Defeats Mark Henry in a singles match for the World Heavyweight title. I think Mark Henry, he's good as far as monsters go, and Christian's good enough that he can make this a really good match, or at least a decently good match. Good enough for a main event, I guess. Looks like we're going to have some time left of this video. That's good, because I have a lot of notes for Build to Money in the Bank. Alright, first on the SmackDown side. Again, first putting SmackDown as a priority. Who in the world would have ever thought of this? First up on the SmackDown side, Christian and Orton start a best-of-5 series for the world title. Come Money in the Bank, they're tied 2-2, so Money in the Bank, it's made a 2 out of 3 falls match. Just because I think these guys have really good chemistry and they always deliver a good match. So there's no reason to not have that continue. Alright, so then Sheamus qualifies for the SmackDown Money in the Bank by just utterly annihilating Kane. Oh, not sorry, Kane. I mean, Kane! That's my pallbearer. Yeah, he just destroys Kane. Writes him off TV to do TV or movie or whatever. Maybe just go home and hang out with his family. I don't know. Whatever Kane wants to do, he can do in his off time. Wade Barrett qualifies for Money in the Bank in what doubles as an Intercontinental title defense against Heath Slater, and after the match he breaks Heath Slater's leg somehow. You know, just something brutal. He's trying to take out the core one by one is what he's doing. And then Tyson Kidd qualifies for Money in the Bank. I really like Tyson Kidd. I think he's a really underrated guy. Tyson Kidd qualifies for Money in the Bank by defeating Justin Gabriel. I imagine would be a great TV match. But Wade Barrett gets involved. He pushes Gabriel off the top rope when he was ready to do for the 450. Yeah, something involving Mark Henry or Wade Barrett. Something involving Wade Barrett. The next match, Ted DiBiase Jr. qualifies for Money in the Bank by making Khali pass out in a $1 million dream. Yeah, it's Khali jobbing. How about that? And then after the match, Jinder Mahal attacks Khali, puts him through a table, and that sets up Jinder Mahal versus the Great Khali for Money in the Bank. And Bryan qualifies for Money in the Bank by defeating Chavo Guerrero after interference from... defeats Sin Cara after interference from Chavo Guerrero. So that feud will continue. We're not done just yet. By the way, Chavo, I'm continuing your employment. You're welcome. Then the last couple notes for SmackDown side on the Money in the Bank. Yoshi Tatsu qualifies by defeating Cody Rhodes with a roll-up while Rhodes was making fun of DiBiase. He was just watching on commentary. Yeah, Yoshi Tatsu qualifies for Money in the Bank. Yoshi Tatsu getting a push. How about that? And then Layla wins a Battle Royal to face Karma for the Divas title with the intent of avenging Michelle after Karma put her on the shelf forever. As you know, Layla still liked Michelle, but it came to what it came to. On the Raw side, the Big Show wins a number one contenders match against John Cena and Triple H for the WWE title. Cena and Triple H just brawl so much and are so out of control that all the weeks of build-up, like every time they see each other, they attack each other. Every time one of them has a match, it's just insane. So they're banned from the arena at Money in the Bank. Yeah, I know. You don't want to see another John Cena and Triple H feud, but I gotta give Cena something to do in the build to Mania, and I have plans for the title that don't involve Cena. What am I gonna do? Give him a U.S. title reign? The next match, or another points. John Morrison beats D.H. Smith, qualified for Money in the Bank. They shake hands, but D.H. Smith kind of squeezes Morrison's hand after the match. Next match, McIntyre goes over Ron Killings. Pretty straightforward. Jack Swagger defeats Daivari with the ankle lock, qualified for Money in the Bank. This was gonna be Zack Ryder against Jack Swagger, but Miz made Ryder forfeit, so Ryder would be 100% for the Miz's corner for Miz's WWE title match. And so they sent out a replacement, that replacement being Daivari. Daivari may or may not wind up on the main roster, I don't know. And then the next qualifier, Dolph Ziggler would qualify for Money in the Bank against Rey Mysterio, which I think would be a really good TV match and good way to put over Ziggler strong. Mason Ryan would defeat Evan Bourne, qualify for Money in the Bank. Yeah, I know, Ziggler Evan's not doing his high spots. Boo-hoo, don't worry, Evan will be fine. And then the last qualifier, Del Rio beats Mysterio, would qualify for Money in the Bank. No, I'm sorry, I don't have Mysterio working twice. That's my fault. I meant Mysterio. No, Del Rio beats JTG. Man, I'm bad. Beats JTG to qualify. And Killings convinces JTG to turn heel. They win number one contenders match for the tag titles and spend a lot of the build beating up the champs and bloodying them with weapons and stuff. And JTG now goes by, I think his real name is Jason Paul. If it's not, I'll look it up, but just assume that whatever his real name is, that's what JTG wants to go by from now on. It's like Ron Killings is going by more or less his real name. So that's Money in the Bank. I know it doesn't have some of the stuff that you were looking forward to in the real Money in the Bank. Obviously, CM Punk's not in a world title match. In fact, CM Punk's not even on the card. But I think there's enough stuff here that's interesting in its own right that you'd still want to see this match. So yeah. Yeah, I guess that's everything. I will see you in Chicago. Adios.